Okay, hi everyone. This is an unscheduled live, so I'll give just a few minutes to see if anybody is around and might be able to join me today. But I am going to talk about some new drugstore makeup that I purchased and just kind of let you know my feelings on them and what I'm thinking. And I'm actually wearing two different foundations right now. And we can kind of talk about the differences there. This is kind of a 4-hour wear test. So we'll get in with all of that. And for those that are watching the playback, welcome. My name's Lisa. My channel is Lisa Monique. We cover all things beauty and lifestyle for the over 50 woman. And we can go ahead and get started. I've got a couple of people here. Yes, all right. Couple people. I kind of like doing this time frame for my lives because I'm on Central Time in the US right now, and I kind of get people from Pacific and Eastern, and usually it's a good time for me. All right, so today's video, I'm going to talk about some drugstore makeup that I purchased, give you a little update on what's going on with our move to Tennessee. I'm going to be talking about two foundations, and I've got the Revlon Illuminance Skin Caring Foundation and the Makeup Revolution, or I guess is it just Revolution IRL Filter Long Wear Foundation. I think this one was from Target. These might both been from Target. Got a Revlon blush stick. This is the Insta Blush. It's a new formula, photo ready, so they say. The NYX Butter Gloss. I should put some on now. I'm going to start by putting on the butter gloss because I don't have anything on my lips. I really like this color that I have. This is called Praline. It's a pretty neutral gloss. It smells like candy, kind of. I guess it's supposed to smell maybe like a sugar cookie or something like that. It does have that vanilla fragrance, but it doesn't really have a taste, which is good. Oh, and then I got a new concealer, the No. 7 Hydroluminous Dark Circle Concealer. And let's see, what else? Oh, this isn't brand new, but I am trying the Essence Bold Volume 24-Hour Mascara. Oh, and I did get a new eyeliner. This is the Infallible Precision Felt Grip Eyeliner. Another liquid eyeliner. I'm kind of on this liquid eyeliner binge right now. So, okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started. I actually put everything on my face a couple of hours ago. I kept debating, do you want to see me applying the makeup? And then I was like, but then it's just, freshly applied makeup always looks really good. And this way you can kind of see how it looks a couple of hours later and the wear on it while we're live. So let's see, it's almost noon here. I put it on about 8 in the morning. So it's been about 4 hours. So we'll talk about foundations first. So this is a new foundation from Revlon, their Illuminance Skin Caring Foundation. There are so many, what I consider really nice foundations out on the market. It seems like every time I'm trying a new foundation, I'm like, ooh, I love this foundation. It's my new favorite foundation. And a lot of them are this really lightweight, that again, more skincare versus foundation based. And the reason why I like these so much is that they look very natural on the skin. So I'm wearing it on this side of the skin. So this is a light coverage foundation. I'll just put a little bit on the back of my hand. And again, it really does look like skincare. I mean, it looks like you just put a serum on your skin, and it has just a little bit of luminance. So it has squalane, hyaluronic acid, and my shade is 405, which I think is a good match for me. So it was pretty light coverage. I did try and build it up to make it more of a medium coverage. It's hard for me to see. I still have a little bit on, but it definitely is not for the people that have a lot of discoloration that they're trying to hide and cover. So if you just have light discoloration, maybe a little bit of rosacea or something like that, I think this level of coverage is really nice. It feels nice going on. Again, it kind of gives your skin that really healthy looking glow, that kind of plumper looking glow. So it's really pretty that way. I do feel like, even though I did a double coverage, I feel like a lot of my hyperpigmentation spots are coming through. So to me, after a couple hours, the coverage is very similar to a tinted moisturizer versus a medium, light to medium cover foundation. But if that's all you need, it really feels good. That's what I can say. It feels really good on. Now, on the other side, I feel like I have more coverage. And that's this Revolution 16-hour IRL filter foundation. And it is called a breathable soft matte. And my shade is F12. Now, normally matte foundations, I think they usually do have more coverage, but I also feel like they can emphasize some fine lines more, that they tend to look a little bit drier on the skin. But this one, we'll put it on here, back of my hand. It was not a flat matte. I only needed one coat, and I felt like I got more coverage. And it wasn't as luminous. I think, can you see? Let's see if you can see on the pan. So it's not as luminous. You can see this is the matte one, that it's definitely a different finish, but it wasn't that heavy matte like 2 or 3 years ago when everyone was doing all the contour and the face shaping and everything like that, and you used a really full coverage matte. I don't feel like this is the same matte. So I have not powdered either side of my face, and I don't feel like the matte side looks really dry and heavy. Yeah, I think it looks really good. And it is also just a medium coverage matte. I wouldn't call it full coverage either. I did not try and build it up. I did put 2 layers over here, and I still can see my hyperpigmentation come through. I did not put a second layer here, and I still see some coming through, but this side actually has worse hyperpigmentation. And I feel like it did a better job at smoothing and evening out the skin tone. The Revolution does not have that many shades, though. I think that's one of its flaws. The Revlon comes with all different undertones and a lot of different shades. So, but as a breathable, soft matte, let's see if it says anything special about it besides it being super long wearing. Can't see any other special claims on the bottle. But I do really like it. I think if you need a little bit more full coverage, unless you're exceptionally dry, I think this could be a good drugstore option. And this one also, it dries down without feeling dry on your skin. So the Revlon feels like you have skincare, freshly moisturized skin, whereas the matte feels like you have nothing on your face. So it dries down, which to me means it's going to be more transfer proof. And if anybody talks up to a cell phone with it pressed against their face now, I don't know if people talk like that. I mean, I always put it on speaker, but if you do push your phone next to your face, I feel like the IRL will be transfer proof. Probably would be a good mask also. So I do like them both, though. I will say I am impressed once again with the new foundations that are coming out. I think they're working really well. Okay, the next product I've tried was the number 7 Hydra Luminous Dark Circle Concealer. And again, this shade is a little bit dark for me, but again, what I was going to say when I said again, um, from previous videos, I don't really have a lot of dark circles, so it's hard for me to test out a long lasting concealer for dark circles. I can try one out for covering spots, but sometimes the type of concealer you need for your spots is different than the ones under your eyes because your spots aren't necessarily on skin that moves as much. So you're not as concerned with it going into fine lines and wrinkles when you're just covering up spots, whereas you are in your under eye area. But like there are so many new foundations with skincare, there are so many new concealers with skincare, and this one is no exception. So this is 8.5. Now I got this at the, like I said, the drugstore, and I think it jumped from like maybe a 7 to an 8.5. So this is a little bit dark. I think if they had the 8 in the drugstore, that would have been a better shade for me. It does have those foam. Let's see if you can focus on it. It does have one of those foam tips. And I don't know if you're going to see it here because it matches or just is slightly darker than my face. But it is a very hydrating concealer. And it was such a hydrating concealer that I wondered, is it going to cover your dark spots? It's a dark circle concealer is their claim or is their title. So is the color going to last? So I put a little swatch on my arm right here. I don't know if you can see it because again, the shade is very close to my skin tone, but I still can see it. So 4 hours later, and it feels dry. It doesn't feel like a creamy concealer that's going to move around. It feels like it dried down, and I still have the color correction on my arm. So I think it's worth trying if you've had trouble with concealers going into your fine lines and wrinkles, because it does dry down. It doesn't stay so creamy. It doesn't make your skin dry, but the pigment seems to dry down on the eyes, so it will be less likely to move around if you need that color correction. Again, the one I got is darker, so if you're trying to brighten, that shadow area, I don't know how translucent it will be because it seems fairly sheer, but it might be a good one to try if you have trouble with the creamy concealers moving around. So I like it. I think it's a good option, long lasting pigment coverage without it being creamy to move around. And it's not drying. It feels like skincare going on. All right. What else did I get? Oh, the Revlon Insta Blush. And my shade that I picked up was 320 Berry Kiss. Because I always get things saying berry. Sandy. I want a hydrating concealer for my mature skin. And Kathy, dark circles, most concealers make the bags look more pronounced. Yeah, this is not a drying concealer. I mean, it's hydroluminous is what it's called. But if it dries down and leaves a pigment just under the bag, you would just put it where the shadows are. You wouldn't necessarily put it over the whole eye. If you put it on the top of the bag, it's going to make that puffy area more pronounced, right? Because if you put a lighter shade, it makes things, pop out. So you don't want to put the lighter shade, let me use a pen, on the top of a bag. You would just try and keep the concealer right in the shadow underneath, and then tap it down and let it dry down. It might be a good one to try, especially since it's drugstore. Again, in the US, I tell people if it doesn't work, if you feel like, okay, this was just a waste of my money, I would return it. I always save my receipts, and I don't buy product to try on my channel and then I'll return it. But if I'm trying to find the right shade or a product, really try for myself, and I just think what I purchased did not work out, I return it. I always get a paper receipt. I don't like the email receipts. I always have paper receipt, and I keep it with the boxes and the packages until I, determine that it's the shade or that I'm looking for, or that it's a product that I'm going to keep in my makeup collection. Yeah, I wouldn't feel weird returning makeup that you've opened. The drugstores are totally used to it. In fact, they're the ones that told me to bring makeup back to Walgreens. They're the ones that actually told me to bring it back if things didn't work out. So that cosmetic lady there. So that's when I finally started doing it, because she was like, "Oh yeah, if you don't like it, just bring it back. It's no big deal." So I would not feel strange about returning things that really don't work for you. Okay, let's see. Durrell need. Yes. Um, all right, so Durrell needs a mascara. We're going to talk about drugstore mascaras at the end. This Revlon Photo Ready Insta Blush, I also put it on my arm and I don't see it at all. And I have it on my cheeks and I don't really see it at all. This shade, even though it's called a berry shade, it is very light. Again, I'm going to put it back on my arm again. It is supposed to be sheer. It's almost too sheer for me. I mean, it almost blends into nothing. And even when I tried to just keep it on, it didn't stay on. It didn't dry down and stay on. So I'll put some more on my cheeks. And it could be that the color's just too light, but this was one of the darker options. So I'm using it and I'm showing it, but I don't think it's a very good, long-lasting cream blush or stick blush. There's so many better options out there that I would try one of those instead, like the Milani Cheek Kiss. I think is an amazing cream blush. It lasts forever if you're looking at the drugstore. If you're going into Sephora, the Makeup on Mario Color Pop blush stick is great. Which is Selena Gomez Rare Beauty, her liquid blushes, soft pinch blushes are amazing. So for me, this just didn't have enough pigment and did not have the staying power that I'm looking for in a blush. And so it was the Revlon Insta Blush. I'm not a fan. Okay, again, on the lips, I used the NYX Butter Gloss. I definitely am liking the shade, and this is in the Praline. I will say it's fairly small container of lip gloss, and e.l.f. has a lip gloss in Praline, and it's really big. So similar color, it's probably cheaper. e.l.f. I think is a little less expensive. So I do like this, but if I was going to recommend a very neutral lip gloss to someone, I would probably go with the e.l.f. I'm trying to think though, I might have had to get the Praline online. I think in the Target and the drugstores, they had the Mocha Twist, which I like too, which is very similar shade is the Mocha Twist, because they only stock 4 or 5 lip glosses in Target from the e.l.f. And but they do have a Praline online, much bigger container bottle, a much bigger lip gloss. I think that the gloss itself is this entire length. Okay, mascara. So let's talk about that. Raccoon eyes is not pretty. I am wearing right now the Essence, which you can find at Ulta. This is their 24 Ever Bold Volume Mascara. Now, I've been wearing it for 4 hours. I put it upper and lower. I don't see any flakes. Let me magnify. Yeah, I don't see any flakes. So I like this, but my favorite drugstore mascara for volume is the Revlon, no, not Revlon, Maybelline Falsies, and they have a volume. It's a pink tube, the Maybelline Falsies volume. I really like that. It does not run down my face when I'm sweating. Now, I have not done gardening, which of course I'm trying to garden in Tennessee. You know, Tennessee, it's a new move for us. And for the first time in, I don't know, I can't even think of when this happened. But I was outside bending over, gardening, and I had sweat pouring down my face, like running into my eyes. I mean, you just don't have that happen in Arizona. It evaporates immediately. But I had sweat, and I should be testing the mascara in that environment to see, if it comes off and everything. But the falsies did not come off. Didn't come off when I'm playing pickleball or doing some sports and everything like that. But I did not have the dripping, running sweat down my face to see how it does against that type of wetness, which being non-waterproof, it's kind of iffy on whether or not it will last. But this is not giving me any flakes or anything dark under the eyes. And the Maybelline does not either. Yeah, Target now has Ulta and Kohl's has Sephora. Yeah, they're great because then if you use if you have the Target, the points or whatever, you get both your Target points and your Ulta points. And it's same with Kohl's. If you're going for Kohl's Cash, you can use your Kohl's Cash and your Sephora points if you're a VIB member. And so you kind of get you're double dipping when you purchase those products. It's not the full selection. It's not as big of a selection depending on your local stores. But it is nice that they do have a nice selection. Okay, so eyeliner. I was trying this Infallible 30-hour precision felt liner, and it was really easy for me. I didn't have to clean up. I didn't do any cleanup on these. Which is unusual when I try a liquid eyeliner. But it has a nice long felt tip, fine point, and I just kind of do the little drag, and then I kind of dragged up. Yeah, it just made a nice little point, so I was outlining my eye, and then I kind of went up like that. And it hasn't moved. It's not glossy. I don't really like glossy liquid eyeliner, so it's a matte black. And so depending if I was wearing eyeshadow, I was just out in the garden earlier today, but it's nice to kind of smudge and soften the line if you want to with with your eyeshadow, and they go over black liquid liners better. And I didn't put anything on my under eyes, just the mascara. Okay, I can see where right at my base I missed some liner. So let's look at this eye because this eye went a lot better. This was easier for me to flick than going this way. Across my face was easier for me to get my little wing. But yeah, as I'm looking with this super magnifying mirror, I really am liking this IRL filter foundation. I mean, I'm liking the amount of coverage I still have left after 4 hours. I mean, this one isn't bad. It almost, again, looks like I just had my tinted sunscreen on or tinted moisturizer. But this one, I can actually see that I still have coverage. Oh, why are you? Oh, you're focusing on my mirror. Sorry. This one, I can see that I have the coverage. Yes, Maybelline Falsies is great. Okay, that's all that I have today. This is actually going to be a short I wanted to get my lives to under 30 minutes, and that's what this one's going to be. I'll just take any questions if anyone has any questions. Otherwise, we will go ahead and sign off. Anyone have some questions? I will say, since we just moved to Tennessee, we bought a house. It's a house not directly across the street. Oh, don't focus on my hand. Not directly across the street, but 2 down. So I can see it diagonally from my front porch. And so really, really excited about it. We closed June 2nd. So it was pretty quick closing. And now we have to get it completely remodeled. The inside is still a 1972 interior. It's never been remodeled. So we won't move in for a while. L'Oreal Voluminous Superstar. Yeah, I think sometimes these brands, like they'll have like one good product, like L'Oreal Voluminous mascara is nice, but then they kind of expand on it and try and do all these other things with the product, and they're not always as good as the first one, the original. So, okay, but I'm going to sign off here. As always, thank you for watching. Thank you for being here, and we will see you next time. Bye.